guest this week is Will Bennett. Will is the founder and the managing director of GrooveLine Music Education, and he's on a mission to change the way music is taught in schools. He was inspired to create GrooveLine after realising that maybe other companies out there were offering what he felt was a substandard music provision. So Will aims to do things the right way, in his opinion, making music lessons accessible for all, with tutors who work in the industry as professional musicians as well, who can bring the latest industry practices into the classroom for a useful and effective music education. Will himself is a passionate and skilled musician, and he has worked as a professional musician since the age of 15. So let's get to the interview. Will, thank you so much for joining me on the Teachers Podcast today.
Thank you, Claire. Thanks for having me.
So this is going to be exciting because we chat a lot anyway, so you're probably going to find out lots about us because we're just going to have a really nice chat. But you cover something that I like but always was afraid of in school. So can you tell, this is the same for lots of teachers, I know this. Can you explain what GrooveLine, which is your business, does, and how you help schools teach music?
Absolutely, yeah, and I'm glad you said that because that is a big thing. A lot of teachers who are non-music specialists, it can be a daunting task. But what GrooveLine does is GrooveLine was set up about 3 years ago by myself with the aim of providing inclusive, accessible, and holistic music programs into schools. So as part of that, we do a few different things, and we've got a few different schemes in place. One of the things is we teach, as part of PPA time, the music curriculum, and we have our own specially designed modules, which are really cool and really fun and kind of tick all the boxes of the curriculum and much more. We also provide peripatetic instrumental lessons, one-on-one or in small groups, as well as lunchtime and after-school clubs as well.
Wow. So do you, say if you're working with the school then, do you sort of do like the morning of PPA and then do like a lunchtime club?
Sometimes it's different in each school, but we have a whole team of tutors. There's just under 20 of us now in total, so we've got 18 now, I think. And so some of us might be teaching PPA to the whole class. For example, year 2 have got PPA on Wednesday afternoon. But then throughout the day, we also have other tutors teaching instrumental lessons. So perhaps Tuesday is drum day, and then students throughout the day attend their drum lessons as well.
Right, okay. So basically it's like a whole school coverage of everything music. It could be your music lessons, it can be the peripatetic type lessons as well. Everything that a school needs to think about when it comes to music is covered.
Exactly, yeah. We can cover everything they want or anything they want as well. Some schools, they only ask us to do certain schemes. Other schools ask us to do all the schemes. We've got a whole wide range of lunchtime and after school clubs that we run as well, which are really fun. A choir club, band workshop, ukulele club, boomwhacker club, which is always a favorite. We've got a lot of really fun things going on, and it's all about being holistic and not just providing, a music lesson, but actually providing so much more than that and making sure that the value is not just, okay, we've learned how to strum a guitar. That's great, and that in itself is valuable. And it doesn't really require any further kind of justification than that. But if you do want further justification than that, actually, we're teaching so much more than just music. It's a very holistic approach. So, for example, in our world percussion module, for example, we travel around the world each week as a different country, and we learn about their indigenous percussion, how that came about, why that came about in terms of like a kind of ethnomusicological context. And then we learn about how did, for example, African drumming, how did we end up hearing about it in Europe or in America? And we start talking about, some kind of historical movements and things like that as well. So it's a very holistic approach to kind of an all-round education through the vehicle of music.
Yeah, it's almost, and this is what I love about this, is that music for me was that subject that I just was, I can sing, so it's not like I'm scared of music. It's just, I don't have brain space to be good at it. And I think it's making it really good. It's making that lesson really good as well, which is just what I love about what you do. Um, so then I feel like, you talk about the fact that it's not just about learning to strum a guitar. You've obviously learned a lot, and you're bringing a lot into schools, which is maybe more than um, a school might be able to do, or a teacher might be able to do, if they don't have that background of knowledge, or they don't have the time to be able to really put into it. So why do you think it's really important then for schools to provide good music education?
Well, there's so much evidence to say the benefits of music. You can kind of talk about this for weeks if we like. It's not just about the benefit of being creative, having fun, learning teamwork, learning a new skill, improving your confidence and being creative, all those kind of obvious benefits. There's a lot of hidden benefits as well. There's a recent study which I reference in one of my blogs if anyone wants to check it out afterwards, um, from the University College of London called The Power of Music. And they found that students that study music have a better ability to read, they better comprehend social environments, they're better at maths, um, it enhances their memory, their physical health, and their well-being as well. So the benefits of studying music are so great, and that's just studying music. You know, what we do is not just study music. We then link it into all the other subjects, into the school values, into any kind of theme of the week. For example, if it's diversity week, as it was in one school this week, or music week, as it was in another school, which is excellent.
Mm, yeah, and I see that, so I suppose for context, my 5-year old started guitar lessons, and it was Will who helped me sort of set that up because she's a bit young to play guitar, but she's quite good at it apparently. And I'm seeing that as well. Like she is improving her memory because she wrote a song the other week and remembered it, and I can see how it does help these other skills, but in a fun way that she wants to do. It's like the wanting part, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So for me, in my opinion, when they're at a young age, it's all about just kind of sparking that fire so that they, in their brain, think music is fun, I can do music, and music is great. We don't need to start forcing them, oh, you must practice, you must do this, you must do that, you must do your homework. We don't need to do that, because if they love music, we've done our job, and they will then come to us and say, I practiced every single day this week and I learnt this extra thing. Please, can you teach me some more about this new topic? And they kind of do the job for you eventually. So at such a young age, it's about being fun and about kind of igniting the enthusiasm within a young person. But what you just touched on there about your daughter and her, improved memory, for example, there's something called headfake learning, which is a concept which was coined by Professor Randy Pausch, who's unfortunately no longer with us, but he was one of the Imagineers at Disney. So these are people who are half engineer, half imagination. That's where the word Imagineer comes from. And basically, headfake learning is a concept he coined, which means when you're learning one thing, you're actually learning something else without realizing it. So, for example, whilst a child thinks they might be learning how to sing and practicing melodic recall, what they're actually doing without realizing is learning how to comprehend social um, interactions, and start to realize people's emotions and things like that. So that's basically what head fake learning is, and that's what happens. Now, how can we use that as teachers? Well, here's the beauty of it: it happens automatically. So yes, you can, if you want, have all these clever thought out head fake learning plans about how holistic you're going to be and how you're going to link one thing to the other, which is what we do because we fortunately do have the time and resources to do that. um, Sorry, Claire's cat just came in the picture. She's very cute. um, and we do have the time and resources to do that, but any teachers that don't, the beauty is it happens automatically, so don't worry. As long as you're being enthusiastic and providing a good music education, all these other benefits happen as if by magic.
Yeah, I love that. I was really trying to pretend that that wasn't happening. He was walking across the screen, but anyway. Oh, the things we have working from home. Oh, do you know what? And what I love is, to me as a teacher, I found it hard to find that depth in music. But when I talk to you, it's all there. I can feel it. Um, and so it is there. It just felt like it wasn't there because of what I didn't know. Okay,
Yeah,
so why are you go on?
I was just going to say it's it is very difficult for teachers if they're non-specialist at music, but even if they are specialist at music, it's so difficult to have the time and the knowledge and the experience. It's actually not difficult; it's impossible. That we are luckily able to provide. Because we have dedicated our lives to music. We've done professional gigs in all different contexts. We've got all that experience. We've studied music our whole lives. We continue to study music. We're researching education. We're able to put together programs such as GrooveLine, and all of our schemes with our wraparound care. The only way anyone would be able to do that is if they had a business and they dedicated their whole life to doing it, like we are doing. So for teachers, it's really difficult, and it's asking a lot to provide the kind of in-depth music that we would ideally like in an ideal world. But the good news is that we can make it easier for you. So, that's kind of what the GrooveLine is set up to do, to help you do that. We also have some more resources coming out in the future, which will help teachers deliver that. But in the meantime, I'm not being biased about GrooveLine. There's other competitors as well who you should check out. Whatever improves music in your school, I want that to happen, even if it's not with GrooveLine. So you should check out some of the other resources. Churanga's pretty good. There's a few others as well, who basically give you lesson plans and do the work for you. Even if as a teacher you don't understand, well, the reason we're learning about reggae and where reggae came from, and where it originated from, and why that links into modern blues music, and you don't necessarily need to understand that and therefore understand why we are explaining something that we are explaining. It's all done for you, and if you just kind of trust the process, then we can do that. You can achieve
Mm,
great things.
yeah. So why are you so passionate about it then?
Well, for me, music is everything. Teaching music is teaching life. You're not just teaching, as we said earlier, how to learn a few chords. That's not what a lesson's about. A lesson is about so much more than that. And one great music lesson can change someone's life, and one bad music lesson can ruin their musical life or ruin their confidence and have a real detrimental effect. And so, no one must ever underestimate the importance of every single minute in a music classroom. You know, um, I know I've mostly had a good experience with music education, and since then, basically everything that I ever did in my life was as a result of music, and I'm really grateful for the opportunities that I've had to study music at university, travel around the world, as a professional performer, meet loads of people, you know, experience different cultures. It's been brilliant. But if you have negative experiences, it can really ruin someone's kind of future ambitions within music. I mean, when I was at school, the worst experience I ever had, which maybe turned out to be the best experience as well, was that the head of music, when I was 15, I was doing professional gigs outside of school whilst also being at school. And the head of music sat me down one day, uninvited, and said, you really shouldn't try and do this as a professional thing. It's not really a good career path. What you should try and do is learn a trade. Monday to Friday, you can earn your money, and then just practice the guitar on the weekend and have some fun. And that's pretty soul destroying when you're 15 and eager to try and do everything. Um, Obviously didn't listen, and I proved him wrong. But someone else would have listened and wouldn't have proved him wrong, and could have had their whole potential, future career kind of ruined or seriously knocked their confidence. So that just shows the kind of effect
Mm,
with music. It's so important that we value it and we really respect its importance every time we're delivering it to a child of any
yeah.
age.
And that teacher probably said that based on their own limits as well, rather than your limits.
Yeah, well, definitely, yeah, 100%. I mean,
Interesting.
there's a lot of musicians who now teach because they weren't quite able to sustain a living performing. Um, I GrooveLine doesn't employ or work with any of those types of people. What we do is we work with people who have chosen to teach music. It's a very different thing, and it's a very different end result. The kind of stereotype of an old man who's a bit smelly and teaches an instrument and can't really be bothered and sits in the storeroom at school kind of thing. We're the opposite of that. We're young, vibrant, enthusiastic, professional musicians who have chosen to educate because we feel passionate about it, rather than being forced to choose it as an alternative career because our original plan didn't work, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think that's true for everything as well. Because at Classroom Secrets, probably won't surprise you to know that if you're a teacher listening and you're thinking in the future about applying for Classroom Secrets, then here's a little tip. Often, especially more so in the past, a lot of the applications would say, why do you want the job? Because I want to work from home. Great, but that's not a good reason to want the job. Or, why do you want the job? Because I'm fed up of teaching. Well, it's fine to be fed up of teaching. We get to that point, but you know, we only want people who really are passionate about creating resources and making sure that they're amazing for teachers who are staying in the classroom. So it translates across everything, doesn't it? You want people who really want to do it. Otherwise, everyone feels that, don't they?
100%. It's so transparent when someone doesn't want to do what they are doing. And even if you were trying your best to hide the fact you didn't really want to do what you were doing, you would never be able to be so passionate like we both are when we talk about our education. When we both talk about education, the reason we're doing it, it always comes down to we want to improve and change the way things are done. You know, I if everything was already fine in music education, I wouldn't have bothered setting up a company. There would have been no need. The reason I did it is because I saw what was around. Exactly. Likewise with Classroom Secrets, you saw what was around and you thought, actually, this isn't quite good enough. So it's not the way things should be, and we're on a mission to change that. And that's probably what I'm most proud of with GrooveLine is that we have managed to create. I had a concept, wasn't sure if it would work, of providing this accessible music with a certain type of tutor and have this holistic approach. And luckily, we've been going and it is working, and our numbers are always growing exponentially in terms of how many students are interacting with us. We're interacting with thousands of students a week now, which is excellent, and it's growing and growing. We've basically never had any negative feedback. All the head teachers are like really champion us, which is excellent. And it just proves that the idea, it works. Accessible music is the only type of music there should be. And the other thing which I'm quite proud of is we now see our competitors. One of our main competitors has had a big restructure. I'm not saying that's entirely due to us. Maybe they've got their own reasons for doing that, but the whole point of a free marketing competition is to improve standards, and I'm really proud that that's happening. So other competitors are thinking we better improve our standards now because there's these other companies doing things a different way and it's working, and that's great, because ultimately all we're trying to do is improve the standard of music education throughout the country, really.
Yeah, I love that, and we all need a mission to work towards, don't we? So if you're a teacher now, like teachers, unless they control the budget for it, they don't have the power to kind of get music education in. But if you're a teacher listening and you're thinking, yeah, do you know what, I do want to improve music education, if not in my school, just in my classroom, what kind of actionable steps or tips can you give them to help them?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, we're here, we do certain things. I realize that's not always going to be possible for every school due to budgets or room space or timings, whatever. We do have some things which are completely free, so please do get in touch if you want any help at all. I'm happy to help no matter what anyway. But actionable steps that teachers can take. What I would recommend first of all is to have a holistic approach to your music lessons. So think about what you're trying to cover. If you look at the actual music curriculum or the new model music curriculum, it's basically a 2-page PDF of bullet points, which are pretty rubbish. I'm quite shocked at the music curriculum, to be honest with you. It's very badly written. But you can look at the music curriculum and it give you some guidance, but then try and interpret it in a holistic approach. As a teacher, you know about education, you know what the kids are learning, you know about so many different subjects. So try and think about how it fits in. If we're learning about world music, why don't we fit that in with multiculturalism, or why don't we fit that in with geography or history? We can really have a holistic approach to music. And the result is kids enjoy it as well. We're still doing music, we're still having fun, and we're playing music and we're learning about instruments, but now things start to make sense and it makes music really relevant. So that's my first tip, to be holistic. My next tip is, when we briefly spoke about it earlier, but it's to have fun with it. You know, I mean, I'm explaining about how important music is, but that doesn't mean it needs to be taken as a fearful thing. You know, some teachers are kind of like, oh, music, I don't really know what to do. It's a bit scary. Well, just have fun with it. You know, it's not like in year one you need to be a professional standard of musician to teach a year one class, for example. What you need to do is be fun, and don't worry about all the in-depth reasons behind everything too much, because even though we want a holistic approach, as I said earlier, a lot of it happens automatically. If you're just having fun and singing, the kids are having fun and singing, they are learning other things, you know, through headfake learning, but they don't realize it, and you almost don't need to realize it either because it happens automatically. So that's a really good thing. Don't be scared of it. Is to summarize my tip number 2. And then tip number 3 is just about respect and really value how important music is. You know, obviously everyone's really busy and everyone's got to teach so many different subjects, but there's no reason why any subject is more important than the other, really. All subjects are equal. Some schools don't value, unfortunately, music as much, but they really should. You know, in of itself, it doesn't require further justification. Music is valuable, but if you do want further justification, there's so many reasons that music is so important. And as we talked about earlier, one great music lesson can change someone's life. One bad music lesson can ruin someone's life and the trajectory of how they take their music career further.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. How can we find out more about you then? Where can we get in touch with you?
If you look for GrooveLine Music Education, we're on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and we've got loads of mini lessons, tips, facts, all those kinds of things to help parents and teachers. If you want to link up with me, I'm also on LinkedIn. My name is Will Bennett. Or you can follow the page GrooveLine Music Education on LinkedIn as well. And I'm always talking about music and why it's important and tips and new advances within the kind of industry as well. So just get in touch, and whichever way I can help you, I would love to help you. And don't worry about budgets and everything like that or time. Let's just have a chat and we'll see what we can do. We offer a lot of things for free anyway.
Oh, thanks, Will. That's lovely. And I'm worried now that you're just going to get loads and loads of messages. But music is important, and I think you're right. It's hard, especially after the pandemic. We're trying to catch up on the maths and the writing and the reading and things. But it is important, and I feel like as a teaching profession, we do need help with this, help with getting it right. So thank you so much.
No problem. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Claire.